Generative AI is, well, it's completely reshaping our world, and it's happening so fast. It can write code, it can create incredible art, it can speed up science, but, with all that power comes a lot of uncertainty. So today, we're going to dive into how we can start to manage these new digital titans. And that's really the big question, isn't it? We're all kind of amazed by what these tools can do, but at the same time, maybe a little nervous about where this is all going. So how do we get all the good stuff while, protecting ourselves from the risks? Well, thankfully, we're not flying blind. There's actually an official guide to help us figure this out. We're looking at a framework put together by the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST for short. You can think of it as the official playbook for making generative AI safer and more trustworthy for all of us. Okay, before we go any further, let's make sure we're all on the same page. This here is the official definition right from that NIST document. We're talking about AI that doesn't just analyze stuff that's already there. No, this AI creates something brand new. Text, images, audio, you name it. All right, so if we're going to build AI we can trust, we first have to get a really clear picture of what could go wrong. This first part is all about mapping out the potential dangers. I mean, this is a basic rule for pretty much anything, right? You can't fix a problem if you don't even know what it is, if you can't name it. And with AI, oh boy, there is a lot to name. And here we go. NIST has laid out 12 different kinds of risk. And what's really fascinating here is how they break down. You've got these informational risks like confabulation, then you've got societal risks like harmful bias, and then, of course, the big ones, security and privacy. It just shows you the sheer scale of what we're dealing with. Now, we're not going to go through all 12 right now, but let's zoom in on 3 that you've probably already bumped into or at least thought about. First up, confabulation. Now, you've probably heard this called hallucinations, and NIST uses this very specific technical term for a reason. It's to avoid making the AI sound like a person. The AI isn't seeing things, it's just confidently making stuff up that's flat out wrong. And this quote right here, this gets to the heart of why this is such a big problem. The AI says something wrong with so much authority that it's easy to believe. It could be citing fake legal cases or giving you totally incorrect medical advice. It's not just wrong, it's misleading. Next up, information integrity. This is all about how generative AI makes it super easy and super cheap to create really convincing fake content. We're talking about misinformation and disinformation on a massive scale, and it just blurs the lines between what's real and what's not. And that's the really scary part, It doesn't have to be some crazy, unbelievable deepfake. Sometimes the most dangerous disinformation is really subtle, small tweaks that can totally manipulate how we see things without us even noticing. And finally, let's talk about harmful bias. These AI models, they learn from huge amounts of text and images created by humans. So they learn our biases too, our historical and societal biases. And then they can actually amplify them, leading to stereotyped or discriminatory results. This is a perfect textbook example right from the NIST document. You ask an AI to draw a CEO, and odds are you're going to see a white guy. This doesn't just reflect the real world's biases, it actually reinforces them. Okay, so we've mapped out the dangers, we've named the problems. That's a huge step. But here's the real meat of this explainer. What do we do about it all? And that brings us to the core of the NIST framework, its 4-step solution. And that's really the key thing to remember. This isn't some impossible, magical problem. The framework gives us a clear, repeatable process that anyone building or using AI can follow. It's designed to turn all that anxiety into a concrete action plan. And here it is. Just 4 simple but really powerful ideas that work in a continuous loop. Govern, map, measure, and manage. This cycle is basically the engine that drives trustworthy AI. So let's break them down real quick. Govern is about setting the rules of the road. Map is what we just did, identifying the risks. Measure is about testing and checking for those risks. And manage is where you actually step in and do something about them. It's a really clear, logical flow. Theory is great and all, but let's see how this thing actually works in the real world. How do you go from a big idea, like measure, to something a developer can actually do on a Tuesday afternoon? See, this is the real genius of the NIST document. It doesn't just throw problems and principles at you. It connects them. It gives hundreds of specific, suggested actions. Just look at this. It's the perfect example. You take a risk we already talked about, confabulation, you link it to one of the functions, measure, and then boom, you get a clear, actionable task. Before you release this thing, you need to review and verify its sources. It's a straight line from problem to solution. So let's zoom out for a second. What's the big picture? Why should this framework from a government agency matter to you, to me, to all of us? Well, the biggest thing is that it gives everyone a common language. Developers, the people making the rules, the public, we all get a shared vocabulary and a toolkit. It makes sure that when we're all talking about AI safety, we actually mean the same thing. And here's a really important detail to keep in mind. Right now, this whole framework is voluntary. It's a set of best practices, some really strong recommendations, but it's not a law. And that right there leaves us with one last massive question. In a field that is moving at lightning speed, are voluntary guidelines really going to be enough to make sure that AI develops in a way that's safe and secure and actually beneficial for all of us? That's a question we're all going to have to answer together.